Hello everyone, Birdman Nom here, and we're back in Kerbal Space Program after a slightly redone intro. So yeah, welcome back. We're now in 0.19.1.54. It's been quite a while since we played the game, but don't worry, I haven't completely forgotten how to play. Also, in little news, the game's now available on Steam, so if you've been considering buying it but didn't fancy it, now's your chance. The update brings some new stuff. Just use a probe body. It brings in, and you probably already know this, but I'm going to go through it anyway. It brings in rover bodies, which you can build rovers on, along with structural paneling, and like essentially almost like building materials, so you can build structures and whatnot, and etc. And it comes with wheels for rovers. Oops. So you can give your you can make legitimate rovers now, which are a lot easier to control and function a lot better than previous versions. Wheels also come in many sizes. These are the largest, and these are the smallest. So yeah, there's your sort of very brief rundown. It's very brief because I want to get to what I'm going to be doing as quickly as possible. So, starting up KSP again, or well, picking it up again. I don't think we're starting entirely fresh, but we don't have any flights in progress. All the old stuff's gone. We've got new stuff now, and I'm going to embrace the rover side of things. I want to show you what my first mission for you guys, or for me. So here it is. It's the rover lander bracket P, which I think when I did it meant prototype, and then I just kept saving it as that. So it is this. This is all just standard rocket kit to get to the moon. I think we're gonna go for moon. So you've got a middle stage and 4 outer stages. 2 of the outer stages feed back into the middle stage, so they'll burn out first, then they drop off. Then these ones will, or whichever ones, these are just SRBs for launch. These ones will drop off, leaving just the middle stage, put us into orbit, maybe start heading towards the moon, at which point we separate here, and this is where it gets exciting. This is our rover, and it's quite a large one actually, as rovers go. It's quite tricky to show you here actually, just because of how it's set up. Actually, what I could do, if I just grab that, get rid of it, and I'll just quickly go through this, and then I can show you the rover sort of testing it out. So here we have the rover, and what I like to call, or what is generally called, a sky crane. This is for landing on the moon, and then once we approach the moon's surface, it detaches here, and this assembly, which has got the RCS control, the fuel boosters, and the SAS control, that all flies off in a trajectory that will bring it back down and explode on the moon, leaving hopefully as little as possible debris. And this is left on the surface. This is our rover. This is the front, as you might be able to tell, and this is the back. So it's all run off this sort of probe box, and this probe box runs on solar power battery. So we've got all these batteries on it, and also solar panels around there, which don't do a huge amount, and then these ones can fold out to gain additional solar power. It also has some antennae for lights to see where it's going, some basic tools, but the important thing, and this is what I want to focus on, is it has a ladder here and 2 ladders here. Now the idea is we fly this to the moon, we land it, and then we switch over to a 3 Kerbal, Lunar lander, land it nearby. We hop our Kerbals out of the Lunar lander, hop them onto the rover, and then we'll call that mission success, and they can hopefully fly back to Kerbin. So that's the plan. Let me tell you what. Let me demo this rover. Don't save. That would be very bad. Okay, launch. Okay. Oh, music's changed. We're no longer in build mode. We're in drive around mode. So yeah, this is the... Oh, there we go. This is the rover, and actually I prefer it when the steering on the back wheels is locked. Still four-wheel drive, just I think it tips over a bit less, because if you steer too sharply, it has a tendency to tip. So yeah, it drives around nicely. We can put the lights on. See, I can do, that's the minimum turning circle, but it doesn't tip. Gets good speed going, good clip. And these wheels are fairly robust. They don't... Oh, of course. As soon as I say that, I lose a wheel. They don't seem to pop too easily, although apparently they do. I think on the moon, the gravity is reduced, so that's less likely to happen. And also, as you can see, it still functions perfectly on 3 wheels, so it's all very well planned. The rover body actually consists of 2 rover bodies, and then 3 of these small panels tying it to, it doesn't like to turn to the left anymore, tying it together, and then the batteries. And I'll just show you lastly, I will extend the... You'll see the extended panels when we get to the moon. I think I should stop messing around because clearly I don't know what I'm doing, and we should get to launching a rocket. So, let me get back to you when I'm on the launch pad ready to go. So, here we are, launch pad, ready to go. You'll see the staging as we take off. Obviously it gets a bit louder as we hit the go button. And I'll try and explain over that what's going on, but you'll probably be able to work it out. So without further ado, I'm going to put the SAS on so we stay relatively upright, and you... Okay, and then I'm just going to hit spacebar and everything should work nicely. So there we go, we've lifted off and it's quite loud, but it's working. All 4 SRBs fire at the beginning, and also all 5 of the lower rocket motors. The rocket motors at the bottom consist of 4 of the larger smaller, if you know what I mean. Of the smaller motors, they are the larger variety, give out a thrust of 215. So we have 4 of those, and then we have 1 of the gimbalable, which is also not a word, the gimbal-enabled smaller motors, and that gives out a thrust of 200 but can direct the ship to help reduce spin and keep us on track. So there we are, we're boosting away, and eventually the SRBs are going to run out of fuel, at which point I am talking more slowly because I want it to happen now. Good. We hit spacebar and they drop off. Now that's the only, apart from these vertical ones here, those are the only separations which aren't aided, if you like, oh, wrong button, aided by these separatrons, because with long rockets like this, I think you need a little bit of help just to get them clear of the main rocket, so we don't sustain any damage to, I don't know, either the things holding it together or the motor at the bottom, or, you know, it's all important. So this one should be running out. Okay, this one's running out faster than this one because it's feeding through a fuel pipe at the bottom here. It's feeding into the central one, so actually none of these central tanks have used any fuel. Also, I should close that. The reason I'm closing that is because if we do use RCS whilst manoeuvring to go to the moon, etc., I don't want it coming out of here because I want this to be landing maneuver RCS fuel, and this fuel here is going to be what I use to maneuver in space. I don't think it's entirely necessary, but it's what I'm going to do. Now, we're starting to push our apoapsis, or apogee, into space, but it's not quite far enough yet for me to want to gravity turn. I'm going to gravity turn at the 90 degrees, and then I'm going to circularize an orbit, and then do the classic moonrise horizon boost, I guess is what you'd call it, where you wait for the moon to rise over the horizon, and when it does, you yes, that's some tester debris. You hit the boost. So we're about to run out here. Yep. Counting down the last bits of fuel, and when we do, we're going to hit spacebar again, and you'll see the wonderful separatrons in action. So there we go, ready, and separate. So there they go. They go spinning clear of the main body of the rocket, and we still have these 3 rockets, although, yep, we're starting to run out of these guys. Now, we've left it a little bit late because I'm nattering on, but I'm going to gravity turn at this point. There you see the RCS in action. I'm going to gravity turn over this way, because it's something to do with the planet's spin means that this is the easiest direction to establish an orbit. I'm gonna do that for now, and see how that does for us. We don't want this going much higher. Probably 100,000 is our maximum height for this. So pretty soon we'll be able to bring this even closer to the horizon, but equally I don't want to go past it without establishing an orbit. Pretty soon these guys are going to run out. Now they've got a fair 100 or so left. But when they do, we'll do the same Separatron deal. Oh, need to turn my RCS off. To get rid of them, and we'll just be left with this central column, which is a little unstable, but out in space it doesn't make as much difference as it does in the atmosphere. Oh, I should mention, that's another thing, if you don't know, that they've added in the new version of the game is... Okay, those are out of fuel. Wow. Separatrons are a lot more effective in space than they are in the atmosphere. They've added re-entry effects, not... Oh, I've gone too far. I'm just going to cut the engine while I talk. They've added re-entry effects, not actual heat that can explode your parts, per se, but sort of really cool, first of all, like fire almost, as you're entering the higher levels of the atmosphere, and then in the lower levels it's like a wind sort of coning sonic boom type, but not sonic boom. It's a very cool effect. To make it just that extra bit more realistic, and I like the way that this game, as it develops, is gaining more and more little features. So I'm going to hold it there at the horizon. I'm just going to speed up time a little bit so we get closer. Oh, and slow it down again. And then I'm just going to boost up. And we should have... Okay, that one's gone, and that one's beginning to go. So we've got plenty of fuel, and also this isn't a very hungry engine. So it should be alright when it comes to... I don't want to go past this actually. I might just increase my angle slightly. It should be alright for putting us into orbit, and it might even have enough left to put us towards the moon a bit, so we'll see. But I tell you what, because orbit can take a little while, and I want to get as much done this episode as possible, I'm going to bring you guys back when we have a nice circular orbit. Okay, there we go. We've got a 109 by 107 orbit. Lovely and circular. If we zoom out, you can see it's very nice. So now what we need to do is keep an eye on that horizon. We're going to speed up time, and we're going to watch for when the moon rises from over the horizon. We don't want to go too fast because we don't want to miss it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Moon, moon, moon. We're looking for the moon. Little grey blob. Have you seen it? Must be around here somewhere. Darn it, getting silhouetted by the sun. Well, I suppose silhouetted wouldn't be so bad. Hidden by the sun would be a slight problem. Still no sign. We must have been on the less than optimal part of the orbit when we... There's the moon. Okay, so the moon's risen. Now what we need to do is get to our... face the direction we're travelling, basically. It's always a useful tip. There we go. So we're coming up now. It doesn't matter that the moon's gone a little bit too far. This will all still work nicely. So pause it right there. I'm going to take the RCS off. I should put the RCS back on because it's gone a little bit too far. Okay, and now we're boosting away with the last of this central stage. And that should be pushing out our apoapsis to cross the path of the moon. Now, I'm wondering how much burn time we're actually going to get with... Oh, let me stop that because... I don't know, we've got some... I don't want to use it all though. I don't know how much burn time we're going to get on these top tanks, so I don't know whether I should use this stage or basically put myself to collide with the moon, fly all the way out there and then slow myself down and just land, or whether I should use these tanks to put myself in orbit around the moon before I slow myself down and land, so I can sort of pick my landing point. But I think because oh, ready, separate. Oh, that isn't used to having that size craft, so now we're going to use a bit of this stuff. It's more maneuverable now, so it's not actually that much of a problem. But I think because we're having to use, rather unexpectedly, having to use some of this stage to get us to the moon, although it's not too bad, as you see, we've done the bulk of the burn already. I'm just going to land the rover, and then, you know, once it's landed, I can plan the second mission, the manned mission. I can plan that more carefully. Sorry about that. My KSP decided to crash. Yeah, so here we are, back again. Let's speed time up and get out there to the moon. Don't know whether I mentioned it yet or not, as I haven't really been able to check. I've sort of rushed back to get things started again. But that looks like a good collision course. We're going to bring this round. It's going to take a bit of time because the moon's got to get into position, we've got to get into position, and then we're going to slow ourselves down. And okay, so we're actually going to need to... Okay, I'm going to get us a bit closer before we start slowing down. Doesn't need to be too much closer, but actually I tell you what, we'll do it. Okay, I overshot a little bit there. Sorry, I've had the wind rather taken out of my sails by the fact it just crashed on me, but everything seems to be good. That's one of the advantages to quick saving by pressing F5 is when you come back to the game, it's from your last, or at least I think your last quick save. So there's the reverse, I guess. So burning against our current position, and we're just going to have to be a little bit careful, because if we land, basically if we spend too much time in the shadow, our batteries are going to run out and we're going to lose control of the craft, so that won't be fun. Actually, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to zoom around to the furthest point out here, and this might be, I mean, this is sort of what I said I wouldn't do, because I've had to use some of this fuel to get to this moon, but I want to do this so that I land in the sun. I think that'll do, and then if I bring it around, we're on a nice, actually we're going to land hopefully in this crater, which should provide a really nice sort of friendly landing zone. So there's the crater we're landing in. Here's the moon in all its glory. Hopefully you can, yeah, you can see it. I know YouTube likes to darken videos a bit, but it should be fine. Let's just bring up resources, because I want to keep fuel and RCS where I can see them, even though I'm pointing with my hands. You can't actually see my hands. Even though they're down here, I like to have them up here as well in sort of landing stages so that I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to wait till I'm sort of over the top of that crater. So about here will do. We're travelling quite fast. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Well, I don't know if you guys can hear the music or not. I did turn down the sounds, but they might still be too loud. Let me know in the comments if the sounds are too loud. And I'm just going to slow myself down. Hopefully have enough fuel. Yeah, we're going to have enough fuel. It's not a problem. Okay, so now as Kerbal rises over the beautiful moon horizon. Oh, where's the sun? The sun's up there. Oh, look at that. All three. Well, not all, I say all three. There are a lot more celestial bodies, but more celestial suggested stars. I'm rambling because I'm nervous that we're going to crash the rover. And actually, that's a good point. I'm going to take a quick save. So there we go. That's the quick save done. We're coming into land. Let's have a look where we are. We're still sort of on the edge of the crater here, so I'm just going to maybe come a little bit further before I start to slow us down, because 200 meters per second is not. It's not a particularly fast entry, because we've come in at quite a shallow angle. Right, 10,000. We need to start. Now we need to start thinking about all those. Yep. Did you see that? It switched from orbit to surface. So now we're coming into land. It's worked out that actually, if we were to follow this path, we would not be able to orbit because we would hit the planet, and I'm not concentrating. So, bring this down to about 100 meters a second, I think, maybe a bit slower. And the plan is just to get this close enough that we can drop it safely, and then the Sky Crane will fly away, and that'll be that. I'll switch everything on and give the rover a quick test, and then I'm going to leave it here for next episode, when hopefully we'll be bringing a three-man crew. It's doing that thing again. A three-man crew to the moon to drive, or at least sit on the rover, just for a bit of fun and as a test of my ability to make spaceships, because that's essentially what this game's all about. Oh, sorry, just hit the wrong button there. So those of you who enjoy the KSP videos and haven't seen one on my channel for a while, but maybe stuck around because I don't know why, I hope you know KSP's back. I'm going to make a few more of them. Those of you who are new or maybe don't watch KSP but have just started, I hope I haven't gone too far into the deep end so that you're alienated, so you have some understanding for it. And you know, if you haven't seen a KSP video before of mine and you're wondering what's going on, why not go back and check out, there should be a playlist on my channel of all my KSP videos, so you can always check that out. But enough plugging my own stuff, let's land this bloody rover. Okay, so we're coming down now. I reckon the surface is going to be about 1,000 meters, maybe a little bit higher, so it's good the speed's dropping off now. And we're getting nice and vertical as well, which is always a key component of landing. Although one nice part of this setup is you don't have to get 4 feet on the ground. You can drop from a slightly higher altitude and hope it all works. I need to keep an eye really on what's happening here. We're coming in. Okay. I'm going to estimate that the surface is more... Oh god, I need to keep an eye on this. The surface is more going to be about 800, I think. Maybe even lower than that, because it's not standard moon surface. It's in the bottom of a bottom of a crater. So obviously it's a bit lower than I'd anticipate. All that happened there was I boosted too much, and actually, because I wasn't looking at the speed, I started going upwards, which is not brilliant when you're trying to go land. When you're trying to land. So here we go. There's the surface, getting quite quickly closer, quite quickly. Bit of a tongue twister there. I'm going to reduce the throttle. There we go. That's what I want. And I'm just going to stick it there. Okay, so we're coming down nice and slow. There's our shadow. We're just going to match that up. And look at this beautiful descent. I'm just going to make sure that we don't slip over to that side particularly. I don't fancy sort of a Tokyo drift landing. Coming down. And then, without further ado, I'm going to drop the rover, and that's a disaster because... Oh no, there it goes. Worried for a second that the thrust wasn't high enough to carry the sky crane away, but there we go. So the sky crane's going to go off and run out of fuel and blow up. And here we are. This is unfortunately you can't really get rid of the decoupler. But it's not too bad aesthetically. That's that word. So we're going to put the lights on, and we're going to take the brakes off. We're also going to lock the steering on these guys. As you can see, I'm not pressing any buttons, but we're on a slight hill, so we started rolling backwards. I'm also going to extend our antenna here, so we can start sending things back. And what do we need to send back? Let's send back, well, pressure's irrelevant, but let's send back some information about the moon. Okay, so let's reverse around the corner. Not too quickly, mind. It's like doing a 3-point turn, but on the moon. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like I said, I'm hoping to make a few more of these. That's interesting. I think these tyres aren't getting an awful lot of grip. So stay tuned. Yeah, hopefully next episode we'll be bringing 3 little Kerbals to hop on and drive around on this thing. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. As always, hit like to let me know if you liked it. If not, comment to tell me what you thought I could do better, or any of that good stuff. And I will see you guys in the next episode.